and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be looking at this album. It is Chasing Yesterday by Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. So what I'm going to do in this video is give a bit of quick background information about the album, then I will show you my vinyl copy of it here, and then go over each of the album songs. Okay, so this was Noel's second album after leaving Oasis back in 2008. Like, his first one came out in like 2011, and like, that was quite a well received, quite a successful album. So this one was announced back in, I think it was October, November sort of time, 2014. However, it wasn't released until the 25th of February, like in 2015. It was recorded at Strange Ways Studios in Salford, and like the orchestration parts were done at Abbey Road in London. So yeah, like as I said, like this followed like the success like off like the first album. Little bit different than this one, because Noel decided like to like self-produce this album because like the usual like engineer, like a guy called David Sardi, like was unavailable. So Noel like decided that like it would be better just to produce the album himself. So when the album was released, like, it did get slightly mixed reviews, it has to be said. Like, it wasn't completely like unanimous critical acclaim, although like a lot of like Oasis and like Noel fans were like very, very happy with it, like very well received by fans. Just like the last album, like it tops the UK albums charts, but only went to number 35 in the US charts. Okay, so I'm now going to show you my vinyl copy of the album here. So yeah, there's the cover, and there's the back of it there, just the track listed. I'll just take it out off like my Blake sleeve here, and like show you the gatefold, which is a little bit strange at first. Like, it's basically just like this guy here. Like when like I like first got this album, like in like my vinyl update, like I asked like who like who like this guy was, and like someone said that it was like I'll just get it right here, like with like my notes, like guys like Paul Stacey, who was like the engineer like of the album, and like his brother Jeremy Stacey, who played like the drums. Like at first, like I thought like it was like the same person, but still a pretty strange gatefold though, like nonetheless. In here though, we do get a nice inner sleeve with this release here, quite nice colourful artwork, lyrics and credits and whatnot, and the vinyl itself looks like this, just this nice sort of custom label on it. Another great thing like about this like version like of the album is it also comes with a CD, which is fantastic. I mean, like most albums like nowadays that come with like a digital download, but yeah, like I think like this is great, like chucking in like the CD for free there, like off the album. So yeah, that is the packaging gone over. So now I'm just going to go over each of the album songs. I will score each song out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage mark for the album. So it opens up with a track called Riverman, which is a slightly slowish song to start the album. Maybe not the best choice to open it, like I feel. Like I remember hearing this one like when like the album like first came out like on like the radio. It's kind of like sort of typical like Noel Gallagher sort of like Oasis sound. I mean, like you could be fooled for thinking that like you're listening to Wonderwall, like when like you first like put on this song, very sort of like similar like chord structure and that. But like what I really like about this song like is the way it develops. Like we get like this sort of blistering like guitar solo, like almost like sort of David Gilmour style, just sounds really good. Like other sort of all the sort of more like jazzier touches like throughout the song, like as well like a wee like saxophone solo like towards the end. Just a really nice song, but for me it goes on a tad. Like it's about 6 minutes this track, like it goes on for maybe like a little bit too long, but still a really, really solid track there, Riverman. Second track up is called In the Heat of the Moment, which I also really love. Giving this a full 10 out of 10. Just a really fun, upbeat song, like a great vocal performance, and like lyrically he said that this song was about a documentary what we saw about like, a couple of like astronauts and like the journey like into space apparently. For me though, it is just a really fun pop song basically. Quite fun, like catchy vocal hook, like the wee like na 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 na's bit and that. Like it's like, yeah, like it's just a bit of fun. Really catchy song, I think. Good single like as well, reached number 26 in the UK singles charts. Good single like as well, reached number 26 in the UK singles charts. And then we slowen the pace down again for the next track, The Girl with X-Ray Eyes, which is a really interesting song, I think, lyrically, like, and like musically, like, as well. Again, like, it is slower tempo, but like quite trippy and like psychedelic sort of vibe like I get from this. Really, really great like melody, and like lyrically quite an interesting song, sort of like about deception and like being able to sort of like, well, like see through people, like have like X-ray vision and like whatnot. Yeah, just a really interesting, really, really fun song, I think. So yeah, that's The Girl with X-Ray Eyes would get a 9 out of 10 for me. And then we get probably one of my favourites like from like the whole album. It's called Lock All the Doors, which I really love. A full 10 out of 10. Like, I'm giving this song a real sort of hardcore rocking track. It's got like that classic like 90s Oasis sound on it, which isn't like surprising because this was actually like mostly like written like back then. I think like 1992 like he like wrote this song, but like left like unfinished, like didn't make the cut for like Definitely Maybe. Like however like a like Oasis demo version like exists like off this song. Just really, really fun, really brilliant track, I think. Lock All the Doors, yep, getting a 10 out of 10. Gonna try my best to get there, but I can't afford. And then like after that, what we really need like is like a nice sort of like slower paced, like slightly like more like longer spaced out song, and that is exactly what we get with The Dying of the Light, which is another real favourite of mine, another 10 out of 10 I can give it this song here. Like a real like grower for me, this track. Like when like I first heard this album, like it wasn't one what like particularly like stood out to me. But like again, like it really sort of like slows the album down, which is nice. Like very well produced, very well recorded. Nice lyrics like on it as well. Like I quite like the line, like I tried my best to get there, but I can't afford the bus fare. Yeah, like I don't know, but like I really do like that line quite a lot. And like yeah, just a really great song like to get lost in. Great like atmospheric track, I think. So yeah, Dying of the Light, a great closer to side one. And then to open up side 2, we get what is probably for me the weakest song like on the album, although like I know for like a lot of other people this was the highlight like from the album. Like it's a song called The Right Stuff, which is another slightly slower song, which is maybe like the only thing that we do get like two quite slow songs like back to back. However, it does have this really long like introduction to the song. Like you're almost like wondering like if it's going to be like an instrumental track. Like it seems to go like on and on like the introduction and that. But like when the song starts, so it is quite nice. Like it is mostly like a duet with like a female backing singer, like a lady called Joy Rose. And like yeah, I think like it's a really nice touch to get like a slightly different tone like off like off like the female voice like on like this album. Just think the song is like a little bit lifeless though. Like it kind of just like plods on and like on a bit, like until the bridge, which like Noel sings solo, what really just like lifts the song up like to like another level. Like again, like similar to the Riverman, we get these slightly more sort of jazzier like elements, a bit more like sort of saxophones and like that like coming in, sort of like gives it like a lot more like mature sound, like by like Noel Gallagher standards and that. So yeah, a pretty good song there, although probably my least favourite like on the album. The Right Stuff, what I would give a 7 out of 10 to. Next one is called While the Song Remains the Same, which I kind of have like similar feelings to this one, like as I do like with like The Right Stuff. Like it's like a pretty good song here, really interesting, like nice like drumming pattern on it as well. However, for me, like it's a little bit fillery, kind of fades into like the background a bit, not really too memorable. Although this is a song like where like the title of the album is like derived from like Chasing Yesterday, like it's one of like the lines on this song here. So yeah, a pretty good track there, although not a personal favourite of mine. Next one is called The Mexican, which I really, really love, giving it a 9 out of 10 this track. It's just a really fun, like upbeat rocking track. Got this great sort of like riff on it, quite sort of Rolling Stonesy like riff on it. Moves along nicely like as a song. Like great chorus like as well, like really like stands out. As well as like the slightly more sort of like interesting like vocally parts like on it as well. Sort of got these now wah wah sort of like weird sort of vocal sounds on it. Like bad impression there, like I know. But like yeah, a really really fun, upbeat, rocking track there, the Mexican. And then we have the penultimate song is called You Know We Can't Go Back, which is another absolute favourite of mine. Not got too much to say like about this one though. Like it's just a really catchy song. Like the chorus, like especially the verses, like are like great as well. Great like band playing like as well. Like I know Noel's like got like his own sort of band like playing like all this album. Like you can tell that they are like a tight knit like unit when like they're running through this track here. Just a great fun track there. You Know We Can't Go Back, a 10 out of 10. And then we have for me the highlight on the album, the final song, Ballad of the Mighty, which is my favourite song like on the album. This was the first song what like I probably got to know like from the album, because I heard this on like the radio like at work. And I was kind of thinking that sounds a little bit like Noel Gallagher. When like it was like then revealed like what like the song was, I was like, I'm gonna try out this album because I heard that it was really good like when like it came out. So that's what I've done. Like I bought like the album like soon after hearing that song. And yeah, the track is a little bit more sort of dance like orientated. Like a number like of like remixes were like done for like these albums songs, and I released a couple of months afterwards as well. Also like notable thing like about this song is like legend like Johnny Marr like plays like guitar like on this track, like guitarist like in like the Smiths of course, really adds like a great touch to the song. And like Noel said that like Johnny Marr's like contribution made this one of like the best songs what like he's ever like released. So yeah, fantastic songs. Like I like agree there like with Noel, this is one of his very best songs ever. This was the second single from the album, however it only reached number 54 in like the UK singles charts. Yeah, absolutely daft there. Like should have been like a much higher hit, because it does have a very sort of like modern contemporary sound to it. And like finally like as well, like some people like I've said that this song sounds a little bit like a sort of like a Bond theme, and like I can certainly see that. And I mean like this certainly like would have been better than like the rather like bland ballads what have like gone along like with like the last couple of films. It's got that sort of like action sort of feel to it. So yeah, the Ballad of Mighty, fantastic track there, full 10 out of 10. So yeah, that's just come to the end of this album review, and I would give this album out of 100% a score of 92%, which is a incredible score. Like any album will get like over 90%, like I would say like is like a classic album, or like will be considered like a classic in like a couple of years time, like in like the case of this album. For me, I just think it's really interesting and like really considered album. You can tell that he's taken like a lot of time like over this release. And like for me, like it is like quite a mature album, like for like I think he was about sort of 47 years old like when like he made this here. So like it isn't like an album what sounds like it was made like by like a group of kids. Like this is like the work like of like an artist like well into like his like career. Like I think it's got like a real nice variety of like musical styles and like sounds, what keeps it like entertaining like on like repeat listens. And like also the fact that like the songs that they all kind of like flow into like one another, like it's all like sort of like really like linking bits like of like studio sound and stuff. Well, like really like gives this album like a great flow, like especially the first side, which I think is like perfection almost. And like for me personally, I would say this is like the best thing he's done like since What's the Story, Morning Glory. Like I'm not too familiar with like Oasis like work like post that album, although like I have got like a career spanning like greatest hits on them, and like certainly like the songs on like this album, like I prefer like most of them like to like Oasis songs like post like 1997. And like yeah, like there's a lot of talk like of like Oasis like getting back together, like Noel like when like you like reuniting like with Liam and that. But like for me, like I would say like there's no need for them to like reunite when like Noel is making such strong like solo albums such as this. Like it's sort of like really showing like who is like the real talent like of like the band, like if you will. Like he like wrote all the songs, like he like played like all like the guitar parts, or like most of them like anyway. Like and like he's got like a great singing voice like as well. Like I don't think it's like ironic that like Liam's band like BDI like has sank like without a trace almost. But yeah, really fantastic album here, which if you haven't heard it, like I would definitely recommend that you check it out. So yeah, that's us come to the end of this album review, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.